Hey everybody, welcome back to the start of the fig orchard here at least. As you can see, all the trees have done really well. Kind of wanted to do an end of the season review here. It's pretty crazy. It's a sunny 70 day here, October 20th in northeast Ohio. It's been quite the Indian summer. Anyway, here's the trees. As you can see, I'll start at the top of the row this time. I guess we can talk about what I plan on doing. I want to run this black plastic the rest of the way up the fence here. This is all a south-facing hill, so the figs should do pretty well through the winter. I'm gonna heavily mulch and cut these back. I'll probably take some of the longer, low-lying leaders and maybe pull them down to the ground and cover them with some heavy mulch. Maybe I'll cover a few with plastic just to see how they do, but I think mulch should be enough to take them through the winter. Northeast Ohio, Zone 6A is the climate here, and we'll see how they do through the winter. I'll do some more winterizing videos as we get there, but that's kind of the plan. I do need to take down quite a few of these trees on the hill. We'll do that in the winter time once I get some of the leaves off of them. Definitely need to take down this walnut tree here that's just drops these walnuts nonstop on this plastic. But yeah, so that's the plan. I'll start at the top here. So this is the Sister Madeline's Green Greek. It's already dropped quite a few of its leaves, and it's kind of getting crowded by this other inkberry plant that needs torn out. But this is a really underrated fig. It was delicious. The couple that I had, they weren't perfectly ripe because they just kind of aborted at the wrong time of the season. Got too much rain, or basically dropped off right before they ripened correctly. But I know this is going to be a really good tree, and there's some history in Zone 7 growers that made it through the winter with it, so it's a good tree, and I'm looking forward to more of those. Next one down the line, so this is Basilica Sica VS, and it's grown really well too. As you can see, put on quite a bit of growth. I haven't gotten any figs off of this being its first year, but as you can see, it will start to put out more. This one here almost looks like it's variegated. I think that's just maybe the way that the light's hitting it, but yeah, this is supposed to be cold hardy fig as well, so we'll see how this one does through the winter. Next one down here is Socorro Black. I don't know of anyone that's growing this in a northern climate, so we'll see how it does through the winter here with the minimal protection that I plan on doing. The one in the ground, I haven't gotten any ripe figs off of this year, but as you can see, it's a very productive variety, and this is as good as any fig that I've tried this year. For the one that I had in pot has ripened a few. I'll show you that. I've got this one still on here that's starting to ripen, but I don't know if it'll make it or not. It's put out like 2 crops of figs already, and it was kind of like what the Sister Madeline's Green Greek did, where it got hit with some weather or dried up, or it just got stressed right before it ripened the fig, so it didn't quite ripen perfectly, but it was still delicious. It was a very, very good fig. So I'll really look forward to getting these to ripen in the ground, and they ripen pretty quick. Probably only a 90-day ripening, so if I can get this to bud out, you can see how much it's grown here. It was very small as a cutting, and quite substantial. None of these trees in ground I've fertilized at all, because I wanted them to just naturally take in the ground, and I think they've done really well for 1 year. Next one down here, this is Green Michurinska, and it's put on quite a bit of growth. As you can see, this is like the biggest fig that it's put out though. It hasn't put out very many figs in the first year, but as you can see, it's quite substantial on the growth that it has put out as well. I mean, that's a good 3-inch diameter probably. It's supposed to be a very good fig, so, and also known to be cold hardy. So I think this one will do pretty good. Next one down the line, this is Noir de Barbentane. It's got these big leaves. It's pretty, and it's been fairly vigorous, but as you can see, it's only got the one single growth up here, and these are the biggest figs that it's put out. So none of these will ripen, obviously, but we'll see how it does next year. I'll have some, at least be able to take a few cuttings off of this. And then this is probably the biggest surprise of all my trees. This is Gentile. It's just a monster. It's put out so many figs, and this is from a small cutting. Actually, I didn't root this one. I got this from Dan Foster, but you can see the size that it was and how much it's really put out from that single trunk. This was, I got it from Dan in early May, I believe, and that's when it went in the ground, and it has just, I mean, you can see all the figs. I've gotten, I think I only got 3 ripe figs off of this because they're, you know, what they put out early back in May. Ripened fairly quickly for me. It's hard to say a time span of how long it was, but just look how many figs are in here. I mean, this thing is, it's crazy. So going forward, this is just it's gonna put out so many figs. I'm really excited for this, and the ones that I had are just really delicious. Dan actually claimed that this is better than White Madeira #1, which everybody says is the best Adriatic type fig that there is, which is the green skin with the red berry interior. So this might be my #1 recommendation for somebody in a northern climate, simply because of how vigorous, not only vigorous, but productive. It's absolutely the #1 Adriatic that I've seen, other than Bill's early unknown Adriatic, which I don't have in the ground, so I can't compare to what it's done here. Let me show you Bill's early Adriatic, which hasn't really been all that early, but unbelievably productive for the size of the tree. These are all ripening right now, and look at the size of these. I mean, they're all probably close to 100 grams at least. And I picked off, I know I posted a picture earlier of how many, it had over 20 figs on it, and I plucked all those off because I realized it's just too much for this small of a tree to try to ripen. But and I haven't tasted this one yet, but it has pretty good reviews on how it tastes. So I'll definitely do an update on this, do a tasting video when we get there. But in comparison, you can see it pays to grow your trees in ground if you can. If you have the sources, if you have the space, do it. Because I mean, look at this thing, it's crazy. And that's from a first year cutting. So heck of a tree there. Next is, so this is the unknown ice fig that I got from a grower in Europe, and kind of a strange growth. You can see it almost put out breba down on the older wood here. None of these are going to ripen, obviously. It's just too late. We're going to get hit with our first frost here within a week, I'll bet. But you can see how big it got. It's over 6 foot tall. Just a nice tall single branch, so we'll see how this does through the winter, but definitely different. Next is, so this is the Bordeaux grease that's from Bill over at Off the Beaten Path, and it just has not done well at all. You can see the difference between the other trees. I mean, this thing's only a couple feet tall. It actually had some like rot that was going on. It just didn't take the wet spring very well, so I don't even know if this will make it through winter. I almost don't care. It just hasn't done anything for me, so that one probably will get culled out of my collection. So I'll show you the other version of Bordeaux grease, which is the actual Bordeaux grease. It is from this one's from Fruit Nut, so this is what I assume is the actual Bordeaux grease that most people have. You can see this one's ripening up here. Got some nice figs on there. And just how much prettier and healthier this tree is. So I imagine I'll replace that other one with this one in the ground next year at least. Hey Ted, it's my dog Teddy. And then next down is this Pastilier. So again, this has not done well either. I mean, it could be something in my soil right here, but just a really small tree. We'll see how it does. It's known to be cold hardy, so maybe next year. What's the saying for fruit trees? First year sleep, second year I forget the saying now. Somebody's gonna have to post it and make me look foolish. Maybe I'll remember it, but this one has definitely slept in the first year. We'll see if it does well next year. Next one down the line is Rockaway Green. It's another Adriatic type. It's done pretty well. I mean, it's a healthy tree. I'd say medium vigor, and it's just now, for the most part, starting to put out figs, and you can see it'll be productive. I mean, there's a fig at every node there. Same here. But like I said, medium vigor. I mean, you can see the difference in size between this and the Gentile, but we'll see how it does next year. No tastes of that one this year. And then here's Ronde de Bordeaux. Pretty vigorous, but it has not put out any figs in the first year, except for, just starting now. And this one's known to, you just need to be patient. It's got to establish itself before it puts figs out, unlike some of the other varieties I've shown you. But it's also known to be one of the better cold hardy types. So I should be getting figs off of this next year. I haven't had a chance to try it, so we'll see. But as you can see, it's nice and healthy. Next one down, so this is Safrawi from Bass. It's a honey type fig, and I've had one earlier this year. I'm really not crazy for the honey type figs, the taste. This one's ripening right now, so I should get to taste it again. But there's Safrawi. It hasn't done much growing this year. And here's Paradiso Bronze, and you can see this one just really hasn't done much growing for me either. Maybe it's just establishing itself, but I really highly doubt that one's gonna ripen. So I haven't had a chance to try that one, but you can see it just hasn't done much for me there. Here's Lebanese Green. Has kind of just bushed out. So this was just a super small cutting that I started that I was really surprised it even took. So I'll probably pin a few of these outer branches down and cover them up and see how it does. This one's from Bass as well. This is a Lebanese Adriatic type that he's really high on. So it's very pretty. I like the leaves on it a lot. It's pretty ornamental. And it's just put out a few figs, but obviously not going to ripen here. Here's Colonel Littman's Black Cross. I like the growth habit of this. It's nice pyriform, you know, it looks like a tree as opposed to the bush type, so I like how it grows, but it's pretty stingy, at least early on. Now it's finally starting to put figs out. This one just takes time to get a nice foothold, and you can see it really has put on some thick growth, so I hope that survives through the winter time. Give it a nice start for next year. We'll see. Nice pretty tree though. I do like that one. So this was my only, I guess it's not a casualty because it didn't die. I actually dug it up. This was where I had my smith, and it actually got some moles that dug out around it. And let me show you what I just got these off of Amazon. Maybe I'll put a link for what they are. So this is like a mole scare device that it just buzzes, and it sends out like a frequency in the ground. And I've got my dogs running around the yard. You know, I don't want to drop any poison down to kill them in the wintertime, because I know they're gonna try to get in, you know, underneath the covers that I put out. So I put these in the ground and we'll see how they work. But anyway, yeah, I had these moles basically dug underneath the roots of the smith, so I dug it out and I put it in a pot, and it's still alive. But this is Vertal Long that I just started in as a cutting at the beginning of summer, and I've got another one in a pot, and it's a pretty tree. I like the leaf pattern. It's neat. It's different. That one just has the one fig. I'll show you the other Vertal Long that I have in a pot, and it's ripening one fig right now. You can see here, it'll get like a purple blush, at least from what I've seen. It's got this nice thicker stem, so it'll hold on the tree. Maybe I'll bring that one in just so that it has time to ripen up, so I can get a taste of it this year. But anyway, that's what I replaced the smith with there. It's just such a pretty day for mid-October here. It's pretty crazy. Next one down, so this is the Pellegrino, which is very similar to Long de Hoot, but Bill from Off the Beaten Path, he says that this one's actually better because it doesn't split as much as Long de Hoot, at least. You can see this one's ripening up here. It's probably got another, I try to let them hang for as long as possible. We'll see. I'll do another video on this to let you guys know how it tastes, but like I said, it's really similar to Long de Hoot, which is known to be a pretty good fig. So it's got these big leaves, kind of neat. Next one down, what's this, Nero 600? Very similar to Violette de Bordeaux. You can see it's got the two different types of leaves, and it did not put any figs out until maybe a month ago. Kind of the same as some of the others that just require more time to set their feet up before they put the figs out. This one's known to be cold hardy as well. You can see it's quite vigorous, has put out quite a bit of growth. So Teramo's done really well. It's, again, this one's known to be a cold hardy. It's kind of a more of a honey type fig, but I guess it develops more berry as it gets older. But super productive once it gets established. So I'll definitely have quite a few of these to try in the coming years. And then here's Marseille Black VS. It's so similar to a bunch of the other Mount Etna types. I haven't had a chance to try it, so I can't really say. But it looks super similar to Tacoma Violet, which is just such an underrated fig to me. I did put one of them in ground on the front of my house. I guess I'll show you at the end of this video. It's not in my line here, and it doesn't get nearly as much sun as these ones do, yet it's still grown crazy, and I've gotten quite a few figs off of it. And man, the one I had the other day was so good. But anyway, next one down here is Improved Celeste. I really like the leaf pattern on this tree too. Real big, pretty, soft. It's pretty finicky in the first year, at least. All of the figs that I've had put out, and it has put out quite a few figs, they've dropped just before ripening, so I didn't get any of them in the first year here, but I'm sure I'll get quite a few next year. It's maybe one of the better northern climate figs just because of how early it is, so we'll just have to wait to try that one till next year. And then here's Giacomo Rao. Again, these leaves are even bigger than the Improved Celeste there, and they're all that way. And it's put out a few figs, but just hasn't had time to ripen up. So I won't get to try this one this year. This is a honey type fig. Was growing in the ground in New York, so it's known to be cold hardy as well. And then last down at the bottom, so this is the Unknown Sheep's Head. Just hasn't grown very much because it's shaded out by these trees down here at the bottom of the row. The one fig I had from it was quite good, and this is Mount Etna type. As you can see from the leaf pattern, it's pretty similar to that Marseille Black VS. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, this is a very good tree. Just hasn't grown all that much, like I said, from where it's at. I guess I'll go show you the Tacoma Violet on the side of my house, and then talk some more about what my favorites have been. We'll get there. So here we are at the front of the house. This is the Tacoma Violet that I've got on the south side of the house here. So it's actually, this is maybe for a couple hours that it gets the sun, and it's shaded out by a bunch of other trees. This hydrangea tree here right next to it shades it out most of the day, and then we've got real big trees around the rest of the front of the property that shade it out. But anyway, just really surprised with how little sun it gets, how much it's grown, because it was probably this big when I planted it here, and I planted it in June. Yeah. So it's grown. I mean, it's super vigorous. Look at the size of that trunk. And the figs, like I said, are really something special for it being a Mount Etna type. They've all generally got that same flavor, but the one I had the other day was just phenomenal. The fact that it dried up was very good. So northern growers should really look for this tree to put in the ground in their area, because it's just done phenomenally well, and it's very, underrated. Like I said, it's a pretty cheap tree to come by, so definitely look for this one. I've only put in 2 other trees in the ground. This is a BG Gold that's got a pretty interesting leaf here. Here's a stray cat that just showed up the other day that we've been adopting, I guess. Anyway, this tree was super small. I only put this in the ground maybe a month ago, and I don't think I'm going to cover this for wintertime just to see how it does, because being a Bulgarian fig, and it's known to be cold hardy, I'll just see how it does. So keep you updated on that one. And then I've put one other tree in the ground here that was basically the same size as that BG Gold. This is a Navid Stark Greek, known to be a cold hardy, kind of a Mount Etna type as well. It's supposed to be extremely similar to Azor Stark, so we'll see how that one does too, because I don't want to cover these. I just kind of want to experiment and see if they make it. If not, I've got other copies. I'm going to do the same with this Tacoma Violet. I'm not going to cover it Sorry about that, the dog's barking at the cat. Anyway, I'll probably take some cuttings off of this, but other than that, I just want to leave it out, see if it makes it through the wintertime. With where it's at, it's pretty protected from the north side, kind of the same as these trees here, basically protected from the north side. So we'll see if they make it through the wintertime.